Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to the DPS podcast. I am your host, Kimada Kimpa,
Killer Keemstar.
Killer Keemstar. And today, we have a full cast. We have everybody I think who's ever appeared on the podcast before. Today we have Clay God, we have David, we have Joshua, Robbie, and Aryan. So,
I would like to be called my real name.
what is it now? Gertrude
Coward.
from Germany? Is it Germany now?
Wait, actually, let me check. I don't
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
my
Let's
name.
check. Let's check. Let's check. Gertrude from Germany: flag underscore DE colon.
That's a real name.
I'm still
You
Gertrude,
didn't
isn't it?
change.
Has it been?
You didn't change it at the beginning of this year. I don't
No,
think.
I did change it. I was Charity from Sweden flag underscore SE colon, and then I
Is their
was
nationality
Jubilee from.
changing because you keep on getting deported?
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
guys,
that's why.
that's about it. I'm
Awesome.
gonna I'm gonna take my leave now, guys. Goodbye.
The secret police have come for him again.
He's going back to the embassy.
Goodbye. Okay. So we have quite a few topics here today, and I think one that we were talking about a little bit before we just started, Robbie, Arden, and I, because Aryan and I have been sending each other memes about this. The PS5 has been recently announced, right? Where they showed off a bunch of games, they showed off the hardware.
I thought you said something else. Holy.
What did you think I said?
No. Continue.
Oh,
No. Okay, I want to know what you think I.
No, it's fine. It's for the best. I
No,
have
no,
seen a lot of memes of the PS5 as well, especially on r/gaming.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the dev kit was a more box thing, the other one.
Okay.
Like I think one of the memes I saw, you know Wally.
Yeah.
They replaced Wally with the X, the new
Xbox.
Xbox, and then
They
the
replaced
Eve
Eve.
of the PS5.
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
funny.
beautiful.
nah.
It actually works.
I sent one of to Aryan, of like where it was like Jotaro from Part 4, and then
Oh, I saw
Aryan.
that with the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
Then
that one. That was
Aryan sent me one of Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Which Clay sent to me.
Yeah.
I
Like-
will give them credit for like actually at least trying something with the design. Like the Xbox One X is or Xbox like Series X or whatever, just a box.
Yeah. So
Rectangular
what's gonna win this console generation, dude? Is it gonna be the mini fridge or is it gonna be the Wi-Fi router? We may never know. Well, we will
Well,
know
actually, I mean,
eventually.
I'm just looking at like hardware information about them. The PS5 in terms of has an interesting SSD in it, which could enable it to have much faster
Will it
loading
both have it?
times.
Yeah, I look when they were showing off some of the games. They showed off the new Ratchet and Clank game. They had these like bits where Ratchet and Clank were like jumping in between these different locations, and they didn't have like any load times. So that was like
Right.
pretty
And
cool.
according to what I've found about that, basically they have a custom drive in there with a custom firmware which allows them to set access priority. That's like the secret sauce. And
So
the Series X
basically,
does. Basically, what they can do is they can say, okay, I need to load this asset right this minute, even if the SSD is doing something else, and that enables them to. And they say they can get assets on the screen from disk within one frame.
That's
Um,
pretty good.
Yeah, so that's how
Sweet.
they can do those jumping, and because the console doesn't have an insane amount of memory, and so that allows them to basically it's like a cheap Optane kind of.
hmm. So it's kind of like an SSHD or with just a really good controller.
It's a fancy, very fancy controller.
Okay.
awesome.
That was pretty neat. I'm looking forward to what games are gonna come out there. I was hoping that like Atlas would say something, but they didn't. But
Oh yeah,
I-
PC port of P4 Golden is apparently
yeah,
really good.
yo! I'm so upset because I have a fucking Mac and I've been wanting to play P4G.
You can install Windows on your Mac and
Yeah, but how
play
much
it.
does that cost? I don't know. This
You can
might be
actually
the thing.
you can use Windows unlicensed for personal use. It's
Oh.
covered by the license. You could just download the ISO off of Microsoft's website for free and just use it.
Hmm.
So that's an option for you.
Okay, you know what? I might do that because I really want to play P4G. I've been like wanting them to like port it to like a new like device off of the Vita. Cause Vitas are like $400 to buy, and I'm like, I'm not gonna drop $400 on the Vita. Like-
It's $400 for aging hardware too.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not gonna drop that amount of money for that. But I definitely do want to play P4G, so I might do that.
It's on Steam, I think.
Yeah, it's on Steam, but it's the Windows only, and I have the OS. Dude, like, yeah, because the thing
I
is,
just.
hmm?
Oh, never mind. Keep it.
Oh, I've been like thinking about trying to get like even like a desktop sometime, but like I've been moving around a lot, and I probably will continue to move around a lot for like the next like 3 years. So like the desktop in my mind is just not worth it currently, but like the benefits of it sound quite nice.
You can make a small one. You can just make a small, like,
Well,
box kind of
the
like
thing is
computer.
that even a small PC is still a lot bigger than a laptop.
yeah,
And
like
so, and also
Yeah.
you have to either have to bring the display with you, or you have to have a display set up in both locations.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just so much easier for me to just, all right, I'm gonna head over to like what 2 cities over, just pack up my laptop and then head over, like
If you had a Cintiq, you could totally just
Yeah.
plug it in and play there.
oh yeah
That's why
yeah
that's why I got like a higher end like laptop rather than like try to bring a desktop, because I'm not gonna fly my desktop halfway across the country for school. Um, and so, I mean, basically, if you have enough disk space, you can install multiple operating systems on your computer, and it's fine. So,
yeah.
that's
Like
what I do.
I know that I definitely have to clear off some of my disk space. Like I
And
have to
if you
figure out.
wanted, you could just plug in an external hard drive for Windows separately if you
Well,
wanted
actually,
to.
so for boot camp on Macs, the Windows has to be on the internal drive.
Oh, seriously?
But you could put the games on an external drive.
Yeah,
if
you can
want.
have an
So
external like games library.
you can
Makes
put
sense.
install the games like on an external drive, and then that way you can, if you have a Mac version of a game, you don't have to reboot every time you want to play it.
Yeah, I was thinking about trying to pick up an like an
I
external
was gonna
drive.
suggest Parallels, but I'm like, I think the performance hit way too
No,
much. And
no,
it's
not
expensive.
don't play it in a VM. That's just asking for trouble.
Mm. But what? I'm pretty
Could do
excited
wine.
for PS5. I don't know. They haven't announced a starting price, right?
They estimate it's going to be around
500.
Probably
600,
500.
600.
Yeah,
which is
because
actually it's an interesting value proposition, because
At
it
that
has
point.
it has an 8-core processor, it has 16 gigs of memory, it has a ray tracing GPU for $600. And
Hmm.
if you wanted to assemble an equivalent PC, that would be about $800. And so
Hmm.
that's actually new for consoles, where they end up being cheaper than a PC. So I think that's going to be very, very interesting, especially since the Xbox 360 consoles have basically just been, like, PCs with loser OSs on them.
yeah, like I don't know. I probably won't pick one up at launch. Depends on what games are gonna be on there first. Because they showed off a bunch of games, but I don't think they showed off like exact release dates for them. Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, I
Like
don't
there's a
know.
2022 one, 2022.
yeah, like they never like
The
solidified.
Capcom game was like 2022. I'm like, okay, that's like 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Well, what typically happens is they throw together a tech demo, right? And they say, look, here's the tech demo. Then they like realize that, oh, we actually can't use really anything from this tech demo, and they rewrite everything.
Yeah.
That's why
Like
the
that
release
Resident
dates
Evil
are
game.
2 years. That's why the release dates are 2 years out. It's like, oh wait, this is just something to show off. Like, is this a viable product? Not, oh, but people think, oh, they're almost done. They're not almost done. They've just started.
Final Fantasy VII.
Was it Resident Evil 8 or 7?
Res 8 looked the frame rate on that was super choppy. Like that was the only game I think that like I genuinely thought looked pretty bad. Like
Yeah.
the maybe right because again it's quite far off, right? So in between now and then, like 'cause,
Pre-alpha screenshots or
yeah,
capture.
like they'll be able to like smooth it out, but like
Well,
I hope they smooth it out.
they're showing you buggy pre-alpha code.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I know. It's just that, like, especially in comparison to everything else that was shown, like, everything, all the games looked really good, except for, I think, Res 8, because of that frame rate. Uh, I don't
You could
know.
always go the Pokemon route, and it ends up shipping that way, but hopefully not.
Yeah, like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm hoping. Uh, like I'm not a huge Res 8 or Res person. Maybe I'll buy it, but I don't know. Like I definitely won't buy it the way it's looking now.
It's like a thriller horror game, so it depends if you like it or not.
Yeah, it's not normally the type of game I like to play, but like a lot of stuff looks pretty interesting. What's quite interesting is I believe what is it? Uh, there's two USB ports, but one of them's a USB-C. They kind of like split down the center, and because like FGC normally runs their games on PlayStation, right? Uh, uh, yeah, you only are allowed to use wired controllers for fighting games. To stop it, so because there's been problems for like wireless controllers for like pause a
Was it
match
like
and stuff like that.
cheating or something?
No, no.
Like you know?
So pausing a game in a competitive game is generally pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
Like it throws off flow completely. Uh, and there have been problems for like for like fighting games where someone brings in a wireless controller and two people are like
Disconnect.
playing a game and then because people don't properly disconnect their controllers or like resync it to something else, like it'll turn back on, right? You just hit a button and it activates. They'll pause the game
Oh.
like in the middle of a competitive match. That's not good. And I mean, obviously there's ways to work around like the problem, like adapters and stuff like that, but
It's just easier to use wired.
Well, the problem with adapters is you split the bandwidth.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, it may not matter for a controller, it probably doesn't, but that's one thing to think about.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. I don't know. Quite interesting. It'll probably be fine.
I mean,
Controllers don't they send
controller
barely
probably
any data.
has HPC problem anyways. Like it's just a port.
Well, aren't
Yeah.
aren't PlayStation controllers aren't they usually like wireless though?
PlayStation controllers are usually wireless, but a lot of people will use like custom controllers.
For PS4 controllers, if does anyone in the FGC community, like let's say Street Fighter, they'll play with a PS4 controller. Like some people do that. They'll be fine with that being wireless, right? Or they make it
No,
wired.
no, no, no. It's got to be wired because the thing is like either it's wired or you have to unsync it before. But like because there's so many like games going on at one time, it's really hard to enforce like making sure that every game or controller is unsynced, right?
So they just force you to take out the batteries and plug it in.
Well, no, they force you to just not use wireless
Oh.
because
Is that
using wireless
enforced?
stuff is too much of a hassle.
Is that
Okay.
enforced by the game or by the people running the tournaments?
That's by the tournament runners.
Okay. I was thinking like that'd be an interesting thing to enforce by the game.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty weird. No, I don't think a
You
game
You
would do
can't
that.
play the
That's-
game unless you have a custom controller.
Yeah, but
If
Like-
you look at the picture from the dev kit, they actually have the controllers plugged into the dev kit, and that could be because dev kit doesn't have wireless, or other reasons. But it looks like they have it's a low resolution screenshot. But it looks like they have two USB A's on the dev kit.
Mm.
Yeah, because they probably use it for more testing. On the final edition, it's just a A and a C. I'm not sure about the back of the console because they didn't show it in the thing. Obviously, there probably was like more like ports on the back.
yeah,
Oh, ports ugly, no show.
Yeah.
exactly.
So highly likely it's just on the back.
Alright.
So I think ports is fine.
Because Ari and I were talking about like purchasing PlayStations and stuff like that. Are you gonna get digital or because there's two versions of it. There's the like normal edition PlayStation 5. Then there's the digital
Depends
version.
on the cost. Like I don't really like the PlayStation Store too much
What's the
because
digital? I actually
also-
don't know what the digital is.
for that, like if you're gonna get like the digital edition, you might as well get PlayStation Plus and then the digital store. And I'm like already paying for Nintendo Switch Online. So
I'm not
probably
familiar
Digital,
with the
digital one
digital.
appears to have a slot loading CD on the front.
Yeah, so the normal model will have the slot for CDs. Digital edition does not have that slot, so they're gonna
Oh,
cut the cost.
it just goes into the.
Yeah.
System
Yeah.
You have it when you buy. Okay.
Yeah, so
Now, one thing to remember though about modern console games is that the physical copy isn't actually a physical copy anymore.
Yeah.
All that they put on there is an installer, which goes and downloads it from the internet. So the kind of physical appeal, I mean, unless you have to pay for the store, like that would kind of suck, and then you would go physical. But you don't get to like have a physical library of games because those are just installers now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
mean, I guess the novelty of it too.
uh,
And I'm pretty sure don't at least the PS3 I remember like it contains the version of 1 of the game. Does it not have that at all anymore?
no,
either?
no, no. What's it called? I'm pretty sure that PlayStation. Okay, I haven't looked too closely to this, but like recalling back to when I was playing Persona 5 Royal on my PS4, like the disc, I believe you're able to run like 1.0 hardware or software
Mhm.
on it.
Mhm.
But for any kind of update, like day one updates, then that's going to be disk space, right?
Yeah.
And it obviously depends on the game's size.
Yeah,
Uh,
if you can fit it in under 22 gigabytes, you could put the whole thing on the disc. But like wasn't that like Call of Duty games like 100 gigs or something? They can't fit the game on the drive. And that's why they have installers instead.
Yeah, there's memes like Call of Duty Warzone, I am the hard drive.
But yeah, that's one thing I thought was interesting was they only have a terabyte of space on the console,
yeah,
which I
Really?
thought was pretty low because after all, games are especially with Unreal 5 and the fact that you can just put movie quality assets on there and it's fine. That's just gonna make the games even that much more massive.
yeah. Because what
And
my
so having 1 terabyte seems kind of short-sighted.
yeah my
I mean-
PS4's got 2, so
What's it
2
called?
terabytes?
Mhm.
Sony's just gonna expect the players like if they wanted that many games, they're gonna even have to archive it or get out an external hard drive. And I'm pretty sure most people will be like, okay, I'm just gonna archive this, or if they just delete it if they don't have that type of feature.
yeah.
That's gonna be interesting though for games that rely on the fast SSD and the custom features on that. Like, will that require developers to basically support the normal drives as well? In which case, many developers won't even bother to support the fast SSD because it's just extra work for little benefit.
I'm assuming like what's it called, launch titles and like first party and maybe like the really big brands might do it, but like the smaller ones that probably won't care or something like that. I know like for the PlayStation 3, like it was very like different to code for it, but it was very like optimal for what is it? Like it
It
was
had
very
a lot of very specific hardware features, which if you use them, you can get a lot of performance out of it, but people didn't use them.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean that's what kept the. I'm pretty sure GTA 5 did because I can't believe that thing ran on that.
Dude, they fucking ported GTA 5 onto another next gen hardware. GTA 6 will never come out.
I don't think that.
No, it'll come out in like 3 years.
It'll be GTA 5 too.
I know
Yeah.
that it's gonna be GTA 6 is gonna be Vice City 2 basically with a female protagonist.
Mm.
Do they?
Really?
That's,
Is that
that's
like
official?
confirmed or
That's
is it
not-
like just
that's not-
rumors?
I mean, that's like the best rumor. Like most people agree on it right now. Who knows if it's changing? But I think
The thing is,
that's
the
what's
fact that
probably
people
gonna happen.
agree on a rumor means nothing because it's a rumor.
Yeah.
Well,
Remember the Grinch
that's
leaks?
our best guess, right? With the Grinch leaks.
Oh my god. But like, yeah, I'll probably pick up a PlayStation 5 eventually. Like once like a handful of games I really want get on that hardware. Maybe even once the price like will initially drop. Right.
Like most of the games I would like to play are on PC, so
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah,
hinders
I'm
me from
not
it.
gonna buy a console.
Yeah, I'm not the target market for that console.
Yeah. Like
Because the reason why I got Switch was Smash, and you don't get that on PC. But like well, let's say Street Fighter 6 will probably be on PC
it will be on PC eventually.
eventually.
I mainly bought the Switch because it's like just
The Smash
portable.
machine.
It's a portable console. which
Oh
is-
wait,
Yeah.
speaking of Switch, what's it called? Xbox Series One X, fridge, the PS5, Wi-Fi router,
Router.
Switch, toaster oven.
Yes.
Oh yeah, dude,
Oh,
it's funny. The Switch is actually 3 times slower than an iPad.
yeah. But hey, it's cheap, dude.
And it
For, like,
works.
a
Yeah, it's
console.
cheap. But it's just funny because you see all the like graphical like things they pull off on the Switch, and then you see like, iPad mobile games, and it's like they look awful.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Was
the
it 10
budget on the
processor?
iPad is like $2 for the game, so
That's
I
why
mean,
I never really
like
thought
you
about
get what
like,
you pay for.
what if somebody made like a great mobile game that like
Infinity Blade.
has no Yeah, but
Kinpa's in fire
that's
too.
kind of lame though.
I think for when it was like made, it was like pretty
I
interesting.
Yeah,
know
sure. When it
there's
was
certain
made, it was
games
cool, but like,
are on multiple platforms, and those are pretty good on iOS or Android or
Yeah,
whatever.
I noticed that like in the early days of like the iPhone, iPad, its life cycle, what I noticed is that
Really good games.
developers were more like big developers were more willing to put big titles on it.
yeah,
Like there was like Activision was porting the Crash Bandicoot Racing series to the iPhone, and there were two games in that, and they were full games. There was a pay once you played it, and they were like actual full games. And
Mhm.
now it's like you look at that versus
Ugh.
Mario Kart Tour, and it's a joke really.
Yeah, I think it's like a shift in like developer interest because when mobile gaming like first started up, I think a lot of developers
That's an awful
assumed that this
word.
was going to be like the future of like video games. Like this was something that could potentially
That's
rival
funny.
consoles. But
That's funny.
yeah,
But it's really just like a super casual, like
yeah,
I'm on the bus. I need to. I'm
Yeah,
bored.
that's what it turned into. Because like if you think about like besides the
I
fact
have
that the cell
Isaac.
phone is a general purpose device, you know, if you think about the Game Boy Advance and stuff, or the Game Boy and the DS, those were kind of things you would where the intent was that you would play it anywhere, and you could do all those same things on a smartphone. But the development philosophy has very much been like, how can we like optimize like the most play time, like three currencies and stuff.
mhm.
Yeah.
Now most games I realize are just like one-offs. Like you buy it, play it, and then some people like to get money. You get like spam with ads, and then you move on to the next trend.
Microtransactions.
Yeah.
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 Like
It's
uh,
awful.
I think a part of the reason of the like shift in the like mobile games to like PC and console games is like the control setup. Like
It
Mhm.
touch controls.
yeah,
That really hurts it.
because for a lot of games, right, that are like on console on PC, like precision is something that like you really think about a lot. Like you think of like Mario 64. Yeah, it's an old ass game, but like yeah, a game where you had to like be able to use the joystick to do jumps, right? Like
Have
you
you
don't have that
seen
tactile feedback on the phone.
Have you seen that new Razer product? The one where like it attaches to your smartphone, and it's like apparently it's really good.
It's like a controller, right?
Yeah, hold on, Razer.
There've been a few
phone.
of those. You can actually Bluetooth pair like Xbox controllers to iPhones now.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Razer Raiju Mobile.
How do you
It looks
spell
like a
that?
Switch. Hold on.
I don't know. I think like it's interesting, but I think that kind of defeats like the whole novelty of like mobile gaming.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
that
carry out your
Send it
smartphone
to.
and this giant controller with it.
yeah, exactly. Right. You have to bring the it's a lot less mobile than just your phone or whatever.
It's this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it basically turns it into like a it looks like a like kind of like those like CD player flip up things.
Yeah, huh?
That's what it reminds me of.
Like it's definitely interesting,
Oh my God,
but
Ethan! Look at the. There's another one called the Jungle Cat. It's literally a Switch.
it's so
But
expensive.
this is for
Holy
this is
shit.
for the Razer phone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's worse because it's for one specific device.
Yeah,
But
the
yeah.
second one is for the Razer phone. The first one is for anything, I think.
Yeah, that's what it looks. It looks like it just has a general clamp on top. And I've noticed it's how difficult it is to design touch controls for a game that has even a little bit of controls. Like for example, the game I'm developing, I need to have a move and a shoot and a place of mine. Well, and so the shoot has to have a direction, right? Well, okay,
Yeah.
the dragging is already taken up by the joystick, and then tapping is shooting, but then how do you place a mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
You run out of options very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why like a lot of simpler games do really well on mobile because I know that
I think a
David
good
really likes
I think a
playing.
good mobile game would be something like Clash of Clans, but like where it's very simple with the controls, but there's a lot you can do. But if you remove like the microtransactions.
I know
Sonic
that-
Hero,
Yeah.
Sonic
I feel
Forces
like a
is the best
Pokemon
mobile
could do
game.
well on mobile because the controls aren't that complicated.
I think the
Yeah.
battling will do pretty well. Yeah. I
Like-
think
I know
like-
that most sorry, puzzle games usually do really well. Like I have like a few puzzle games on my phone. That's kind of the only
Shut
things I
up.
have.
I know that
games can do well if you use a gyroscope to tilt, and then that is your
Yeah.
turn.
yeah. Like because I don't know. My thing about like being or like having a mobile game is when you have to have like a electronic D-pad or whatever. Like I think generally I feel like it'd be better to try to avoid using that just because like it's kind of a like you don't get that tactile feedback from what's it called? Like a digital D-pad, and you're blocking part of the screen with your
Yeah,
thumb
you
down.
can't like immerse yourself in it the way you can with a controller because you have to kind of you keep missing the buttons.
That's why I think Apple Store kind of just what was it? What's the thing called where they did like you pay monthly for
Oh yeah,
game? Arcade, yeah.
arcade,
Like,
yeah.
they kind of like promote. Oh, you just use a controller for these games instead of actually using
Because
touch
for
Well,
pads.
Apple Arcade, it's not just on an iOS device. Let's like for people who are hardcore like Apple like ecosystem people, you have your iPhone, your iPad, and your Apple TV where you have a controller, or your even your MacBook. It also works for there.
I
So
was about to say like what they made like an Apple like controller.
I feel like
device.
the reason why they did that was because they're trying sort of they're like halfway trying to make the Apple TV like a gaming console.
They're half-assing it kind of.
Yeah, they are. They really are because like it's too little, too late, really.
Yeah.
Like the only game I really know of on the Apple TV is Crossy Road.
Yeah.
I think someone's watching me play it. The game Overland by Finji, amazing game, and that's on Apple TV.
Yeah.
I think
That one that
the
looks like
only
Zelda.
games I have are like the ones that you would have on your computer, like Isaac, TFT, Hearthstone.
And those are
Those are ports. It's not even like an original game, which is funny.
Yeah, like you have
I
to
guess
have
The
Wild
controls are not very. The controls are not very
apples, I guess, but that's not even like a
That's a physical game.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, kind of. Yeah, you're right. Actually, it's just a not a copy, but I guess a copy, but like
It is a copy. It's like electronic copy.
it's a reskin.
Yeah.
Reskinning IRL.
I'm fine with how the mobile gaming is now, except for the part where
Microtransactions.
microtransactions and ad
Oh
spamming.
god, wait, no,
Yeah,
the
that's-
Apple game sucks. It's all microtransactions. It's awful. Like
That's
there's
the thing with the Apple TV Plus though, is that the games couldn't have microtransactions. It was just
Oh, is
play
that
the
an
game.
actual
Yeah, that
thing?
was the kind of the deal. In order to be a developer for that program, you
Oh,
have
that's
to
cool.
you have to adhere to certain like requirements, and that's one of them.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I think that's a good step.
The way
Like,
they, the way they make
I
up the
feel like Apple
cost. is with-
TV. I'm sorry, Apple Arcade is like working. It's not failing at all.
Yeah,
I think
Like
why
it's doing
They can get some
fine.
bigger titles on it, then they could work. But also the fact that it's limited to like Apple only, kind of hurts it a little bit since Apple doesn't really design their hardware for gaming at all.
Yeah, I think if they know their market, like it's because you're not gonna sell anyone who's like really into video games on Apple Arcade. Like,
yeah.
because if that's the target you want, then like you're looking to make a console or like a PC or whatever, right?
I
because-
think one of the biggest problems with mobile gaming, because Aaron jokes about it, because I think mainly because of that awful ads that they have, you know.
Oh,
ad
yeah.
spam, the ad spam and microtransactions. Like if you took those out, like suppose like the reason why they do it is because people don't want to pay like $1 for an app on mobile. That's
Yeah.
too expensive.
I think
for
I
some-
think
for
he's like
some
referring
reason.
to like the like what's that? Those game like you're watching a YouTube video on like your phone or something like that, and you get like an ad for a mobile game. Is that what you're talking about? Those are terrible.
Yeah, that's awful. It's just complete clickbait ads.
I'm just gonna say I think a lot of these whoever's making these advertisements, they don't recognize that a bad advertisement can 100% discourage people from downloading a game.
Yeah.
Well, I
Very
think the
bad.
bigger issue is that you're not the target audience for these ads,
I
right?
think
Like you
they
see this ad and you know it's shit, but like
random ads that are like somebody
okay,
doing
because like I've been playing a lot of mobile games lately, right? Like what are like these ads? They're for like boring ass games, right? Or like they're for
Yeah.
like
idle
these
games.
games that not idle games. Well, idle games are like they're designed to be boring, but like that's a part of their like
Appeal.
of their gameplay, right? So like you know what you're getting into, right? But like these new
Oh, did he die for? Is this just me or is this? Oh God,
Wait, what?
you
The
died.
mic-
You just died, dude. You turned into a robot.
You're
We
back.
can hear you fine now, though.
Yeah, so like they used to have like some semblance of the actual gameplay, right? But I think somewhere along the line they realized that it doesn't need to be some sort of gameplay. Like, because I think the new trend is that if your game is some sort of puzzle game, you can have an ad of a puzzle, and it can be completely unrelated to the actual game, but it's not misadvertising because it's technically still like advertising a puzzle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's no like, we're just not the target audience for it because I think we're too
Yeah.
smart, or like we're
There's
too
some that are just
aware,
clickbait,
or we're
though.
too old to actually recognize that.
Yeah, I
Oh.
suppose like because
And
now
Yeah,
obviously,
you're
they
right.
continue
It doesn't
to
match up.
use the same tactic, and probably means it's working because they have like all
Oh
the
no, it
statistics on
definitely
it.
works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Like,
it didn't work, they wouldn't do it.
I just love there's some that are just like some person playing basketball, or it's like a basketball like mobile thing, and then just the text, there's like white text on top that says, "Are you retarded?" It's so
what?
it's like if you
Or-
download that game,
The
right?
ones with the broken English, it's like is you brain kind of
is,
thing.
is you retard?
Oh my god, I've
Yeah.
seen so many
That's what,
ads with like I've seen so many ads with like an IQ meter at the top for puzzle games. and,
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like
you
that-
need
that-
to
you
finish
can
it, but
do
then, like,
versus like the pro, and you don't even understand what the comparison is.
Yeah.
I feel like the appeal is like you're watching the ad and they're like doing it all wrong. You like, I know how to do this so easy, and you want to download it just to do it, like those
Yeah.
puzzles where you watch
Yeah.
someone like really bad play.
There's
That's
also like
marketed
a
by the
pro-
8-year-olds.
there's a pro versus noob. Have you seen
Yeah,
that? Yeah.
It's all marketed at 8-year-olds. That's all there is to it.
It's
They're
either
all the
people who are really
boomers.
young or people. Yeah, exactly. People who just aren't like familiar with the
It's
Yeah.
so
like video game
funny.
scene.
Well, it works, right? Like I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
it's
like
definitely
mobile
worse.
gaming is like accounting for more than half of the total revenue of the video game market. So
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's,
So-
it's also like there are those ads where it's like 98% of people fail this or something.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
hey,
obviously not true.
It's like, well, I can beat it, and they download it. Right?
I don't know if
There
you guys
go,
have seen this
download.
ad. Well, these ads, but it's like those ads that are like you can literally win so much money from this app, and it shows someone's bank account being like going up to like 1,057 bucks.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
my
Oh,
God.
This fake casino
gambling,
ad.
virtual gambling.
hell yeah,
$1,000.
that's something I could get behind.
Should get legal.
So
Sorry.
that's the thing. It's not real, but people can like feel like they're winners. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Oh, or you actually don't win anything, but you can.
Yeah, you win virtual currency, but not like
Oh,
but you
yeah.
can't like do anything with
Yeah.
that currency.
I guess the appeal for that is like
Redeem
yeah, you
$10
win
games
something, but
for
you
3
have nothing to
million
lose.
games.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess I'm kind of like. I remember when I used to play like the mobile like CS:GO case opening.
Oh yeah,
Oh
it was
my
like
God.
cheesesteak or something, right?
Those are okay. That was pretty funny. It was pretty fun.
Oh,
though.
As
yeah.
well, that's the appeal. Like seeing it like, oh my god, I got like 20 knives. If I was actually playing, I would got it for real,
I'm
but
pretty
no.
sure the original app got removed from the store.
Oh yeah, I definitely did.
I still
had
have
to
a
find
case
it.
clicker too, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's no longer in the store, but there's
I
like
think on
20,
Android
there's
sold
like
it
20
because I
copies
have
on
it.
it. I mean, yeah, like that's like it's literally an incremental game, more or less, with gambling. That doesn't cost real money, so it doesn't hurt
No,
anyone.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's plenty of clones of Case Clicker. I mean, they're named
Yeah.
different things. You've got Case Chase CS:GO, CS:GO Case Simulator, Case Battle Cases Simulator, that kind of thing.
That was like a guilty pleasure of mine. Those are actually kind of
They're,
fun.
they're pretty fun.
Okay, so
I can't
actually,
win a knife in real Steam. I'll win a fake knife in fake Steam.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
but then
about
you get a collection of knives and you don't even sell them.
hell yeah. I was thinking because Clayton mentioned guilty pleasure. I was thinking about adding like this to a topic, but I figured we had enough. But since we're on this topic, I was gonna ask you guys like, what's something that like you really like, but you can understand why like a lot of people don't? Because I've talked about this to you guys a few times before.
Are we talking about games?
Just anything. I'm saying any piece of
The
media.
game I'm playing right now,
What do you play?
More
Oxygen not
Oxygen.
included.
it's a colony management. Yeah, colony management games. I feel like it's either you like it or you hate it.
Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff like that. Like for me, I think probably one of my like I guess guilty pleasure things, right, which will just obliterate my opinion entirely, is I like the Speed Racer movie that came out in like 2008. Like I could take a step back and say like, yeah, this is objectively a bad movie, but like it's so colorful and pretty. Like when I
Nice.
watch that movie, I'm like, I'm gonna turn off the brain. I'm just gonna look at the color. Because yo, the
Is this live
transitions,
action?
it's live action.
Ah,
Yeah. It's
I mean,
based off of the
it-
Japanese series. What's it called? Like Makogo.
critics seem to love this speed race. Oh, actually, no, this is 1967 though. That's different.
Yeah, no,
that's
it's
a
live
40%
action.
on tomato.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Oh
it's
yeah,
it's
17%.
Ooh. Oh,
it's
man.
pretty bad.
It could be worse.
Like
It could be Zoom by Tim Allen.
I've seen that movie. That's
But,
just
you know.
bad. But what like okay, unironically, I think that the Speed Racer movies, this guy it has some of the best like transitions I've ever seen in a movie.
I'm trying to think of something that also I like, but others wouldn't really.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I think
There's just like a lot of stuff. Like yo, the
there's a lot of stuff. Yeah,
The Derp resource pack.
that's just regret.
No pleasure in that.
there is no pleasure in that.
there
Only
is no
guilt.
I guess. Okay. Oh, that's one. Like people always joke about loud does not equal funny, but sometimes it's just funny to me when it's just out of the blue and it's like you do not expect it. Sometimes it's pretty funny, but when it's just video, just ear rape, it's not funny at all, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
just
that's how I
like
feel when I talk to Clayan. So
shut up. I would turn on my funny mic if I could.
Oh,
I
you
miss your
broke it.
soundboard.
Yeah, I don't have it right now.
So
Yeah, is your guilty pleasure thing, David? Sonic Forces,
Sonic Forces.
the mobile. Because he's been playing this game. I thought this was gonna be like a 2-day thing. How you've been playing this for like 2 weeks now, right?
It's kind of fun. I don't think it's that bad. There's no like cringy storyline that's weirdly dark while
You
having
make
like
your own
bright
character.
colored. What?
No,
You
no,
make
no. We're
your
talking
own
about the mobile game, the
persona.
mobile game version of it.
No, it's the mobile game.
Oh,
No,
it's
Sonic.
different?
The Sonic Forces itself, like the actual,
oh
like
god,
the
this
real
is even
game.
worse.
I was like, no. I can't. Listen, it's basically just Temple Run,
Yeah,
but
it's like
PvP
it is Temple
and there's
Run.
some playable characters, so it's kind of
Temple
fun.
Run
What is your Sonic?
Temple Run was fun.
It's literally just PvP Temple Run where you can play as different characters with different stats, and that's fun. And it's not a cash grab from
Probably
my
not.
experience.
Wait,
I
this-
haven't
Most
paid
of the
money.
worst
I've been doing
Sonic game
fine.
ever made.
This
So
HUD looks like it's stolen from Clash Royale.
I'm gonna be real. Sonic games without a story are borderline better than Sonic games with a story at this point. Let's
It's
just
true.
throw
David,
that out
what's
there.
the game that you're playing that's like Temple Run or Clash of Clans?
This is the exact game that we're talking about right now, dude.
It's almost like we've mentioned Temple Runs like 3 times. Temple
Sorry,
Run.
sorry. I meant Subway Surfers.
it has in-app
Oh my
purchases.
god, Subway Surfer.
Wait,
It does
is
have
this?
in-app purchases. They're
Let's be
very
honest, what game doesn't have
unnecessary.
in-app purchases?
It's got the fuck. Yo, I can't wait for them to release a video game based on what is it, the Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, and it'll be called Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, the game.
We have the one where he looks like a run fruit.
Yeah, dude. What a. I don't understand why they.
Does anyone want to bless me for sneezing?
People
No.
seem
No.
people seem to like this racing battle game, Sonic.
Yeah, people seem to enjoy it.
Uh-huh.
It seems like, like
It's just
rating.
Temple Run. Why is it so hard to understand?
It seems to be
Nah.
higher rated than like other console Sonic games.
This is a judgment-free zone, right?
Of course.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can feel the judgment right now.
Okay.
Good.
Ethan, you want to guess what my guilty pleasure is?
It's what's the thing called again?
Okay.
Bang
One
Bang
second.
Dream?
I'm getting rated.
Bang Dream. Bang Dream.
Is that it?
It's a rhythm game.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Oh wait, Joshua's gone. He said.
I'm getting rated. I think he's getting rated by the FBI.
Uh-oh. It's for playing Bang Dream.
For playing
like,
Bang Dream.
uh-oh, the public can't know his guilty pleasure.
Exactly.
Bang
Cut it out of the video. Okay. Like, I'm trying to think of if there's anything else.
Okay, I'm back. Wait, what?
Bang Dream.
You're
Ah,
getting
fuck.
rated.
Okay. It's more than that though. I've been getting back into like rhythm games. Or
I
just in
thought
general.
about getting into those, but like I'm so fucking bad
I,
at it.
I re-downloaded. I downloaded Citus 2 again, I think, or yeah, and I've been playing it as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like rhythm games have they have a steep entry curve because when you get into the actual like difficult stuff, it's all muscle memory. And if you
Yeah.
try to do that shit right away, you just get absolutely ass blasted.
Yes. No.
But
That's
after you reach a certain point,
I do honestly want to try a rhythm game.
you guys should play Page.
I'm so bad at rhythm games. I remember trying to play.
Everyone starts out terrible, but like you get good eventually.
The only rhythm game I ever played
Or
on
you-
my
or you quit.
phone.
The Geometry
I mean,
Dash.
I've never
rhythm
seen you
game.
really get good at
Geometry
something,
Dash isn't a
Joshua.
rhythm game.
So
Geometry Dash isn't really a rhythm.
You
It's
can
not
make it
rhythm.
into
You
a
do
rhythm
not. You
game.
don't jump to the beat. You just avoid the puzzle while it's playing loud electronic music in your ear.
Mhm.
Yeah. So rhythm game.
No,
No, that's not a rhythm game.
that's not even close.
I am
A rhythm game
extremely
is
upset right now.
when you're clicking to the beat of a loud electronic song.
It doesn't have to be
Right.
electronic.
I
yeah,
know.
I
rhythm
wouldn't-
game. Think of if you want like a big popular rhythm game, you can think of Dead by Daylight.
Access Flash to kill you.
Like
in
I
real
would
life.
put a clip of like one of the harder levels, but I think I would get fucking flamed. But
No.
Alright.
Like rhythm game I used to play was Voez, but like that's probably just a random other
that's
one.
by the same people who made Citus, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my
Guitar
rhythm
Hero.
game was the Club Penguin dancing floor.
Yeah, you just
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
a rhythm game.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the dojo in Club Penguin. That was my thing.
Oh
That
hell
was-
yeah, dude! That was
Black belt and everything.
so much
I
fun.
had a black belt. I didn't do the elemental thing, so I don't know what that
Card
was.
Dude, Card Jitsu was fucking pay to win.
It was.
Wait, was it?
Yeah, you play against
Yeah.
people who fucking have premium and you get one shot.
Oh, that's funny.
Should've just paid them.
I like how like Disney started that like Club
Disney
Penguin like
made
remake
it
and then they
so-
killed it off a year later.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's kind of.
So they literally used the killing off of Club Penguin to get like more members for the new one, and then they just killed it off.
Yeah, dude. People were like
Savage
into
Donuts, man.
Club Penguin for like the memes.
Where's Toontown? Come
No.
on.
Wizard 101.
Wizard 101 still alive?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
still alive. That's the only one. Is any
What
others?
about Pirates 101?
Oh, that one. I remember
Oh, yeah,
watching
yeah,
that
yeah.
on TV.
Oh my god.
Now we're getting onto something. I played Wizard 101 for like 2 days, and I never played it ever again.
I remember farming in Wizard 101.
It's so sad.
I only played Club Penguin of like those like
Yeah, same.
browser
I remember
games.
farming in Club Penguin.
I remember cheating coins.
Hell yeah. dude.
What the fuck?
How did you have cheating coins again?
There's a website you go on, and you like put in some coin. I'm gonna get arrested for.
It was like
but,
the 2008 version of like those websites that like claim to give you like coins, but it actually works.
yeah.
Actually, it did work.
Probably my account got hacked. Probably doing that, but
Nice.
I don't care.
Well,
You got the
Sure,
coins,
for
man.
Everyone that actually works, I'm sure.
I
there
got
were
like
100 that
60,000
didn't.
coins from doing
Yeah,
it.
dude. It's a small price to pay for 60,000
Too bad
coins.
you don't have anything to do with them because you don't have premium.
yeah.
Feels bad.
I literally had a white puffle, and then they deleted Club Penguin. I'm so mad.
I had a blue puffle, and then I don't know what happened. I think my
Wait,
account
you
might
had a
have
white
gotten.
puffle?
Yeah, I had a white puffle. I had a
Wait,
membership
I
for
had
a
all the
month.
puffles.
Oh my god.
Hell
Membership for
yeah.
a month. Someone
my
gave it to me for my
God.
birthday.
Oh
And
my
all the
god.
Actually,
Oh
no,
my god.
If you know,
look at these
he
rich
gave it to me.
motherfuckers.
I think someone reported me once for throwing snowballs at them.
Yeah, I would report you as well.
Yeah, me too.
Imagine if you
Dude,
could
so
just.
I don't know.
was
I don't know if I was kind of a
Penguin,
shithead
Like
kid.
8 years
I
later,
found out.
someone was role playing in that thing.
Nice.
Remember
Dude,
those
I
like those like character penguins were like they were like mascots and you could like and all they do is just stand there and you could like if you like friended them they would like auto friend you back. Like
Like,
that like Gary Gadget guy who they like show up once the blue moon, and they just stood there. And
Oh,
the people
yeah.
were like
Or
super
what's-
excited for
what's
it.
the
Yeah,
pirate?
whenever any of them show up, the entire server gets swarmed, and you can't get in anymore, and then you cry because you can never friend
Yeah, like
special
the
NPCs.
My favorite thing was the freaking spy missions and the fishing mini game or that game.
I was too like small brain to figure out the spy missions.
Oh, you didn't know? You just search up a guy
Oh,
online.
I searched But no, like literally, I forgot. Someone like, I was so embarrassed because someone
the
younger
polar bear.
than me showed me how to do it. I forgot who it was.
I remember
but-
there was like a tower defense mini game inside the spy building. That was pretty fun.
Oh yeah, I love that one. I also like the one where you're the puffle, the red puffle, and then the ice would melt under you.
I mean, that's like a arcade game or something, right?
Yeah. Also
So I
the
played one of the arcade games, and I think it restricted you though because you
also
need
the
a membership.
DDR one, that was good.
The what?
Like the DDR thing.
Oh.
I remember that
I
one.
think while farming coins, I mainly just played the surfing mini game and also the
Oh, the surfing was
fishing one.
horrible. That one.
The
Fishing was
guy who-
So-
the guy
Oh, I
who
did the
goes-
fishing one a lot. I remember
'Cause
that
the
one
fishing
vividly.
the fishing one's easy if you know like the special trick.
Well, yeah, you just keep a fish on your hook and that's it.
I think I also farmed the surfing one.
Yeah, the surfing
Before-
one's easy most of the
Because
time.
what was it? So my old laptop, my old laptop, my Windows Vista. For
Oh,
some
yeah.
reason, using the arrow keys would sometimes just go sticky mode and just like and just be stuck on the one key. So like the minecart game, I cannot play because
left,
it would
left,
stick
left.
to the left and then it would turn right and I would just die.
Nice.
Or
I
wait,
remember playing the
the minecart game was like
I played the micro game. I was like, I didn't like understand it, and so like it was just going, and then the turd comes up, and like okay, and it just goes and crashes right into it because I didn't understand the game.
nice.
Actually, interesting though. There's the one of the people who composed a lot of the music for Clump Penguin has started like a YouTube series where he like kind of goes over the music for the game, which is
Mhm.
pretty interesting. The guy's name is like Chris Hendricks, I think.
oh.
Shit.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's it.
I just rage quit.
What about Neopets?
Nope.
I never played
I never played
Yeah,
that one.
I never played that.
I mean, what the fuck is what? Come on.
I heard about it, I think, but I just never really
Come on.
never really like oh
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, I'm not a nerd.
What the fuck?
Oh, this dude.
What are you?
The Chris Hendricks dude.
Let's see.
I
I've
think
seen the channel once.
I don't know when I stopped playing Club again. I think it just went to the Wii, and then just started playing Mario Kart.
Hell yeah,
Yep.
dude.
Oh, yeah,
Galaxy. That was where it was
Remember,
at.
on my Wii for Rainbow Road, you could use a golden mushroom and jump over the holes, but on Clayton's Wii you can't. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna play my like epic strat because I like learned that you could do that when I was playing on my Wii. Like, oh, I'm gonna beat all the competition, and I did it, and I just fell in the hole. I was like, excuse me, this worked when I did it.
Nice.
Oh, why didn't
Should've
work?
outplayed it,
I have a
guess.
feeling that because the Wii didn't like there's like very few updates for games. The way they would update it was they just later
So,
versions of the CD would have
yeah.
it. I have a feeling that either I had an older
Oh.
version of the game and that was an exploit, and they
You
patched
definitely
it.
had the older one because I got it because you got the Wii.
Yeah, and so I think I still have my Wii and that copy, and so I could try it again. I'm pretty sure I'm fairly certain that that was something that they had patched early on.
Yeah.
That's funny
Yeah.
when you have
That's-
patches
that's
through
pretty
CDs.
funny. Yeah, Melee technically got one patch when it was released in PAL regions. They changed the game. I forgot what
Oh.
it exactly was, but it was like the only patch of Melee.
I'm surprised that they decided to
One,
patch that
version
specific
1.01.
thing in Mario Kart because Mario Kart Wii has so many other huge like issues with it in terms of like ways you can cheese it that they didn't patch. But
It's a very
no, you
interesting
can't
game to
jump
watch.
over the holes in Rainbow Road. That's too much.
Yeah, maybe it was like they were doing something else, and then
Remember
that's just
the-
a byproduct.
The friggin' was that one that the Bowser's
Castle?
Big green burrito.
No, no, no.
Bowser's
Bowser's
Big
one.
Bean Burrito?
the ghost one, the flat one, the ghost.
The flag,
Um,
the SNES
Ghost
one,
Valley
right?
2?
Yeah, CNES one. Yeah, that one is
Oh,
like,
you
you
mean
can
the
really
buildings?
speed run that one like really fast if you know what to do with the bike.
Dude, the
Those are like
bikes
a
in that
shortcut
game
you
were
could
so
take.
busted.
No, what was that? The Yoshi's one, the Yoshi Island.
Oh, the Yoshi's Island. You mean the mushroom one?
No.
No, the Yoshi Island.
Yeah, in Mushroom Gorge, there's that like place where you jump over the mushrooms, right?
Mhm.
There's
Okay.
a bike with a bike you can cheese it by like driving up, and it'll let you like drive around the side of the mountain, and you can
Oh,
like
yeah.
Oh
okay,
yeah, I
yeah.
showed you. I think I showed you that. Yeah, I'm like, dude, I've been playing this game the entire time.
Have you
can
seen
also-
hackers in Mario Kart Wii?
Oh,
Some what?
yeah, it was in Mario Kart.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen
Oh,
it.
hacker.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's hilarious. Okay, I won Jungle Japes, or what, I think that's the map. There, you know the bridge part?
Yeah.
It's really like it's like a choke point. This guy, you know what he did? He took a mega, like he hacked himself a mega mushroom and an invincibility star at the same time, and he would drive forward and backward in like side to side in the bridge and knock everyone off the bridge. So he would hold the game hostage on the
And
bridge.
people would like just like
Nice.
spam like blue shells and stuff, and they fly around.
Yeah, yeah. Or spam the freaking bullet bill and win instantly.
I didn't know about internet on the Wii until
Yeah,
like
same.
Yeah,
the
same. I was
Wii.
like, oh wait, the Wii had
I'll be
connectivity.
back.
I didn't know that.
But I think my
in-
parents told me that it didn't have internet. I'm like,
In Grumble Volcano, there's like a little thing you can drive up on. And if you just go around that 3 times,
Yeah, it
wins.
counts as laps. Yeah.
Yeah, they count as laps.
all I did was time trial with myself, and I tried to do better and better.
Oh, I
I,
played it with my
I was
brother a
never
lot.
good. It was just like, it was fun
Yeah.
because I got gold medals on everything. I think I just completed the game, and I'm
I feel
like,
like Mario Kart Wii, even though it's like so unbalanced, I feel like that's what makes it like the most fun.
Yeah, it's fun,
play
right?
to play with people. Like I wish they'd bring back like the Thundercloud, even though it's so unbalanced, because
They still have the
it's just
Thundercloud.
funny. It's a funny
they-
item.
don't they still the thunder? Oh, you
No,
mean the
no.
one
No,
where
the
everyone's-
Thundercloud where you like get it and it just activates, and then you get a little speed boost, but if you don't hit somebody
No, I
else,
thought that was
it
still in the
lightning
game.
zaps you.
No, it's not. That's not still in the game.
Not?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
on.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
been taken
that.
out.
Yeah, okay.
Don't so much
There are a
fun.
few Mario Kart Wii items that they took out because
I
apparently they're too
missed.
broken.
I missed the. Well, did they remove the big mushroom? I missed that.
Yeah, they
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 did.
removed Giga Mushroom.
Oh.
like,
That
There's
was
also there's no fake question mark box anymore.
Yeah, that one's a bummer.
Those are
I
fun
think.
too. I mean, the problem was that, like for team battles, it was like
Well-
if it was blue, it didn't. It was like not that obvious. But when it's red, it's super obvious. I think
Well,
those
they
ones-
could have done it. They could have done a better job with it. Like if it looked normal until you got close to it, I think it would have been a better item. But
Oh, that
no,
would-
Yeah.
they just did it where it was just like you could see really far in distance. Oh, that's obviously a fake question block.
I was like
wasn't the question mark upside down too?
something
Well, yeah,
like
that was not it. It was the color that was made it obvious. It was
Yeah.
bright red, and the real ones were rainbow colored.
Maybe if
Yeah.
they kept the like the rainbow color and then just made the question mark upside down, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, and it's like less to actually look for it.
yeah.
It made the question marks more
And
obvious.
also, it was also not a great item because the item boxes were always in the same place
Yeah,
on the track
exactly.
every time.
Right,
And
I
so
like
unless you were like really pro and you could like plant it as you went through, it was like not that great. But if they had more item boxes that were in more places, then it could be a more powerful item.
yeah, I don't know. I miss like a lot of the items. Okay, so I like Mario Kart 8. It's like pretty fun, but if you, what is it? So I play a lot of games, right? Some of my like other friends, right, that I have
This guy plays
don't
games.
play a lot of games. So when we're playing games together, I'm like, hey, you want to play like Smash is something like I can't really play with them because like I know how to play Smash and they don't, so I always win, right? But Mario Kart to an extent has become that, right? Because like
I always win.
yeah, like if you're playing against people who don't really know how to play Mario Kart, but you've like you even have like an inkling of an understanding, you're like I spend like the entire game like in first, just picking up coins and stuff like that.
I had the golden
for
Wii
it.
wheel in online, the ranking system,
Nice.
because
Yeah,
I
the
I
thing
played
like
with
Mario
the
Kart
Wii
Wii
wheel.
is that because the items were so like crazy, you couldn't like stay in first that long, and that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah. Alright.
Stayed second until the end.
Blue shell spam ensured that.
What's it called? Stay in second until with the 3 shrooms until the end, and then just boost your way past him.
Yeah.
I got a blue shell and first like, oh, what's this gonna do? And it did exactly what you expect. It just blows you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
It'd be
like,
funny if you went
once,
like around the track and hit like second place. That'd be funny. But it
isn't there a
doesn't.
point where the blue shell will just no matter what target you, even if you're in second place?
I think in later versions it was actually yeah it was if you have become the highest position. So if like the
Yeah.
race is gonna end and you're in like fourth or something because everyone ahead of you has finished, then the blue shell will hit you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It always targets the person highest up on the rankings that hasn't
Once it's
finished.
too late, if they already passed the finish line, then the blue show's not gonna turn around and go, "I'm gonna go to that guy now."
Like like there's a point in the animation where it just like let's say you go back to the same place, it'll still choose you. Like
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And also, I've never been able to do the blue shell cheese where you have a mushroom
Yeah,
and go. You
that
pass
shit
it,
is
Very
difficult.
precise timing.
and like
Yeah.
win. Like I think the only time I was able to do it was I had a golden mushroom in first place.
You just spammed it.
I just like blue shell, no, dude.
Alright. So, going back to some of the topics that we have, because we technically only like tagged one of these, so we could use some of these for later.
We
But
went off.
because
We
I
went
have,
over.
yeah, hey, that's good. We have a lot to
Yeah,
talk
we had
about,
such
and we
We
could
tagged- we
could
did-
always go for a while. But okay, because I have you here, and I can't count on you always being here. I want to talk
Why?
about this because like I
Is
know
it
that
me?
we've talked about this before. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Because I almost forgot. I
yeah.
thought it was
You
Friday.
you almost forgot today again. But what
Wait,
is it?
what?
Clayton
I didn't
almost forgot
actually-
about the podcast again
Oh,
today.
Pog?
But what is it?
Pog, yeah.
Because
I actually would have been gone if I didn't do something earlier.
what is it?
Getting
But there was a
invaded
comment
again.
on the last podcast talking about this, right? And I know that we've talked about this, but we never. I don't think we've ever talked about this on the podcast, right? Is asking about like YouTube for smaller creators, right?
Oh. Yeah.
Like whether they think it's like a good. I forgot who commented it. I could check really quickly. Let me check the exact wording.
Oh. Hey,
Oh,
Clayton's
okay.
channel is progressively becoming less and less small over time.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I mean, I can give my input on this a little bit. I think the
It's
problem
luck.
is, yes, luck and YouTube for small creators. Small creators don't have a choice, or any creators basically don't have a choice because there's YouTube, and I guess if you want to include float plane, you can do that. But that's
Yeah,
not
Flowplane
the
is they're clear. It's not a competitor because there's no recommendation system.
yeah,
You have to
it's
already know what you want to see.
yeah, it's like continuation of your base or channel base.
Yeah, it's like once you've already established yourself with presence on some other platform, then you can kind of ensure you have a stable base by moving to a platform that doesn't, rank and recommend. But you can't start there.
Yeah,
I
and there's
honestly-
there's no competitor like Dailymotion. That's like a joke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
like
wait.
Pirates
Mhm.
competitor too, isn't it?
So if you want to become a small creator, the only choice you have is YouTube.
Yeah.
Well,
I
part
have
of that is
good
because
guide for-
YouTube is. You think about how expensive it is to run a service like that. Like
Oh, yes.
YouTube nets Google around negative $10 million a year, and so they're just a drain of money. There's no real way to be competitive in that space if you're not a spin-off of a huge company. So like Microsoft and Apple could make their own, but they're the only ones really.
And they don't have a reason to make a money hole.
Basically, it's
Yeah.
like unless they could offer something amazing that YouTube didn't, there would be no reason for it to exist.
Yeah.
I think one good thing for starting out a small creator, I have a good idea of what to do. It's like at the beginning, it's luck. It's just pure luck if you're gonna get a good video. I was getting any views. I had 99 subs before the clone video. And
Just pray. You just gotta pray for the YouTube algorithm.
yeah, pray for YouTube algorithm. But actually, if you do want to get some subscribers, like a beginning, I recommend like posting it onto Reddit or something like that to the specific subreddit.
That
Yeah.
works
If you,
pretty well.
if you fucking said botting, that would have fucking laughed.
Yeah.
Some-
Well, that's
I
actually
recommend
legitimate because what it does is you get a sudden surge of people, and that
Yeah.
kind of causes
Tricks
the
the
YouTube
system.
system to say, "Hey, people want to see this," and they start
Yeah.
Clay God's
Recycling it.
dark secret. Botting.
Like yeah, this
What the
this
fuck?
like
the secret ingredient is crime.
exactly.
True.
Like there's
I
a
mean-
handful of ways to try to get yourself like as a small creator like
Definitely
Recognize, I
just,
suppose.
just share the videos you make.
Also,
To certain
Don't make content that has a high cost to produce because YouTube has
sadly.
been because if what you're making takes a long time to make, then because YouTube has been basically optimized for short form rapid content, and if you can't deliver that, then it's never going to recommend you.
That's how
true.
PewDiePie is
But
number
I do
one.
think you should just do what you want, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But definitely, if you want to get a fan base growing fast, I would just go.
But
Yeah, I would bot. Like you could always,
just but
you could always
Well,
find like an
you-
audience for
You,
anything,
you
right?
have to churn
Just-
out videos like no
Yeah.
tomorrow, and you get like you lose your freedom in like making what you want, kind of. Once
I-
you
maybe,
get
maybe
big.
not Minecraft, but an
Yeah.
audience exists for most things.
Minecraft
Yeah.
works. Minecraft still
Well,
works.
but like, okay, the problem is that the Minecraft space is so saturated, right?
yeah,
Like,
like
Yeah, that's the thing. That if you do more Minecraft, it's like the algorithm is not going to recommend you over someone who does the exact same thing, but has
Yeah.
more
Unless that's
or
something
like-
you
like do what you want, but what you want you should try to be a little bit unique.
But I think
yeah.
I think uniqueness is the key, because if you're not unique, then the algorithm is not going to
Yeah, of
pay
course,
attention
right.
to you.
I mean,
Like
even
mine-
if you are unique, the algorithm still might not pay attention to you.
It-
So.
It's funny because like on my like second channel Dumping Ground, what I did was I ripped soundtracks from like Drive Ahead, and somehow that's amassed 25,000 views.
Oh, you did? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like, I'm preserving this music because I know they're going to take the music out of this game, and they did. And so now I have like the only high quality copy of this music, and people come to that to listen to it again.
Yeah.
I guess like, I think another thing that could like help you with starting out, right? Who am I to say though? Is like I was like observing like Clayton, because again he said that like the first video that he really did that like blew up was the clone video, and I think something that like will really help you kind of amass the initial following is to find an audience that doesn't have a lot of like, because we kind of talked about this before, right? But like Minecraft, it's so oversaturated, right? There's so much content for
yeah.
Minecraft.
Like
If
Dungeon
you
didn't have much
Yeah.
of for the kind of things I did, because I did like, I don't know how to say it. I could say heavy edits, but I guess meme edits or something like that.
Make video into meme edits.
Mhm.
Yes.
Lost the deal with the devil.
like
I passed that deal with the devil doing League
All
content.
keeper deaths.
like if you could find the smaller community and then target your content towards them initially, right? A content or a community that doesn't have a lot of content like about whatever like game it is, or like if you're talking about a movie or whatever, right? Like then they kind of have no choice but to watch you, in the sense is, well, no one else is making content for this.
Yeah.
And in a way, Gungeon was kind of like that. There wasn't like a lot of Gungeon content.
It's like I think Goldmine sounds like money, but it was like for
A
getting
viewer mine.
viewers, for getting a fan base that was really good. It like was I did not expect it to work so well, and because of that, I'm getting fan bases from other areas like Risk of Rain too, because I did a couple videos for Risk of Rain.
Nuggy.
Nuggy
The
too.
initial demand outweighed the supply.
A
Yes.
little bit of Hollow Knight.
Like if you could,
All night, yeah.
yeah, you make like a
See,
content.
Clan's just waiting for Silk Song to come out, you know?
Dude, once Silksong comes, I'm starting a.
He's gonna monopolize on the market.
Exactly.
When Silk Song comes out, Clay God X Moss Bag collab.
Oh. I wish. I don't think you would. I don't think you.
You were gonna meme edit his video.
I'll edit his videos.
But like I know for me personally, like there wasn't a lot of content made about Promare. So I made a Promare video and that did like pretty well for like my standards.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, huh?
More than usual kind of thing.
Yeah, cuz I am a very small creator. I typically only get like maybe like 60 views like a few months after a video gets posted. A week after
It's pretty
Premiere.
decent from the beginning. Usually channels don't get anything.
Yeah,
which is- It's a
I've
good
been able
start.
to jump off of like your stuff, because like there's a decent amount of your fan base that's interested in what I have to say.
Mhm.
Like my video essay videos tend to get like the most views and whatnot. But my Promare video essay, only a week after uploading, already has 79 views, which is like
That's pretty good.
pretty
But
small
when you're
numbers,
sub-
but for my stuff, that's pretty good.
If it's more than subs, then it's very good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, how many views did they get?
79.
Nice, but
Oh, nothing.
And I'm so glad, because that was such a pain in the ass to upload. It kept
yeah,
on
I
getting
was there the whole
flagged.
entire time.
I uploaded it a total of 6 times, and the 6th time it did not get flagged by the algorithm.
That's
So-
It hasn't been flagged yet.
No, it hasn't been flagged yet. It's still up.
Nice.
So that is all it
that's a
took
thing.
was I had to flip the video, desaturate it, and then put a film grain on top of it.
So you know what sucks? You know what sucks that they're gonna remove? They're removing the stupid music policies page. Soon because Classic Studio on YouTube's
Mhm.
being replaced by the new thing on
Mhm.
YouTube. And they're removing music policies, which tells you where you can look up a song. It'll tell you if it's copyright or not.
Oh, that sucks.
It's
Now it's
actually
basically RNG. It's like
It
upload it
actually
as, like,
gonna have to post an unlisted, check if it's gonna get copyright, and then you have to
dumb.
go
That's
through
kind
it.
of. Why would they remove a pretty good feature?
I don't know. That's what they keep doing. They keep removing useful features.
Yeah, the current like uploader is not better than the original one.
Yeah, I miss Classic.
It's worse in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because they were releasing something that's incomplete and not full of the features that it used to have. Like, why would they do that?
Yeah,
I
if
don't
you're
know.
gonna if you're gonna make something, don't make something that's worse, or don't replace something with something that has less features. You're
That's why
you're
I
basically downgrading it at that point.
That's what I don't get. Like popular companies always try to change stuff that are completely fine as it is.
Well, there's the saying is, if it ain't broke, fix it until it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see that all the time. People are like, it works, but they're like, we can do it better, and then their better is actually worse.
I think
Yeah,
part
no,
of that is like
People don't even listen to the community when they want to find something to fix. They just don't listen.
hmm I mean, part of
Yeah.
it is like you're also drawing it. Okay, so like, I don't know how much you guys know about like the history of Coca-Cola, but I'm
New
trying
Coke.
to. Yeah, New Coke. That's what I was gonna talk about.
Oh, are you
Like,
talking
what
about
decade?
the fucking cane sugar bullshit?
Yeah.
Or when they changed the fucking recipe and then
Yeah, huh? And then people like this fucking right because Coke was like
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. I know
not
about that.
doing as well as it was before. Like it wasn't
And
selling.
actually, that thing actually boosted the.
Yeah,
Like,
uh-huh.
finally we get some original Coke again.
Yeah, they do the new Coke, and they're like, everyone that like drinks is like, this is terrible. I want the old Coke back. And now Coke is one of the biggest like beverage companies.
Wait, what's funny is that blind testing showed that people liked the new Coke better anyways, but just saying new Coke made people not like it.
Yeah, but hey,
That's fine.
maybe YouTube is doing something like that. They're like,
They're making a new Coke.
they're making
Call
new
it-
Coke.
It's like who are they trying to attract?
I don't
Well,
know.
a bunch of important settings are now hidden under the more options for the uploader, like
Yeah.
adding to a playlist or tagging.
Yeah, tagging I don't understand why is under
Well,
more options.
Tagging.
That's so annoying.
Apparently, they put a marker that says that tagging doesn't do anything anymore. I don't.
Wait for
I
what?
don't. I think it does more than they want to admit because people use tags a lot to cheese the algorithm.
Oh,
Like, you
is
have
it-
to
They
create
write,
how
they
you
write
get
things
more
that are
views.
completely unrelated to their content in there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like
like
hashtag PewDiePie, hashtag
Are they
current event,
removing
and then you get
tags?
it.
They've halfway removed it. What they've done is they've hidden it under the more options, and they've put a little disclaimer next to it saying that it plays a very minimal role in recommending.
Oh, okay. Because if they removed that, I would be kind of angry.
I would not be surprised if they did remove it.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess, but
Actual monkeys at YouTube.
they are monkeys.
Whenever YouTube breaks, the code monkeys are trying to fix this literally.
Yeah, it's
Actually.
Like you've seen
I
that
don't know.
referral message.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Okay. Do we have anything
I
else?
kind of stopped uploading to YouTube just because of the time cost of my content.
Yeah, for
Oh,
the type of
yeah.
content you're trying to make.
Also, actually, I take it back for there's no competition. Technically, if your content does suit it, you could get a start on Instagram or TikTok. Like you can totally do it from there, but it really depends on the content you're making.
You
Yeah,
have to make
because-
content that platform wants. Though,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
platform suits.
Like,
Oh,
I don't think a
well.
lot of people see YouTube as like a competitor to Instagram and TikTok because the type of content that's posted to YouTube versus the type of content posted to Instagram, even versus the type of content posted to TikTok, are very different and all
Mhm.
target kind of different demographics. Like
Yeah. Like the only person I know who's like
government too.
the only person I know who's like done this kind of like that kind of switch, which is from like the old Vine, because I know ProZD started out on Vine, right?
Yeah, huh?
And also Kansas City.
Like, and that's
Yeah,
something I
Kansas City.
still watch. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was
Yeah,
they made
it's
the jump
different.
from like Vine to YouTube, right? Like
Yeah, like and the environment back then was different, and I think in general TikTok is
It's
more of
basically
like it has a different viewer base in
Than-
general,
yeah,
with
than, like,
a
Vine.
lower attention span generally.
That's true.
yeah.
Low
Like
attention span, also like low budget kind of like quick thing, videos about yourself kind of thing.
yeah.
Like
it's-
essentially, I believe that TikTok is essentially just the new Vine. Like really.
I mean,
Except
like
with a
in
little
terms
bit
of
of different
format,
uses.
in terms of format, I suppose yeah, but I think the appeal has now changed.
Yeah, the appeal has
Yeah.
definitely changed.
Like I don't use TikTok, but I don't think that like meme videos, right, which is what you normally saw on Vine, like that doesn't like rule the app. It's like
I think one of the big problems I notice with TikTok is that it's just what I keep seeing is I just keep seeing reposts of stuff that people
on
make somewhere
YouTube.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just post onto TikTok, say they made it. And
It's kind of like the Facebook thing.
yeah, except it's not minion memes.
oh, thank God.
Like I know on Facebook, a lot of people just like, have you seen the Kurzgesagt video from a long time ago
Yes.
about Facebook? Yeah, that basically that.
Mhm.
Like they copy videos, get money from it, and by the time it's taken down, it's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do we have? We could save some of these topics for next time, or just do them now.
How long have we been?
How long is the recording?
It's about like
Been
an hour.
16, right?
Yeah, like an hour and
I mean,
10
if you want
minutes.
to keep the podcast length the same, you could do that. Or if you want to make this like an extra long one.
I mean, I
Choice.
like the length isn't something that like I think we care too much about. This is like, if we were like 30 minutes in and we just kind of all stopped talking, I think I probably would have cut it there. But like,
Do you want to do the Would You Rather one?
yeah, okay.
I mean, if
so
it
we
does
want to talk
well,
about
you can always just edit things. So
yeah,
It's not about the length; it's about how you use it.
Would you rather is an infinite
What?
rabbit hole though.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Maybe next time.
Next time?
Because that's just a random, not random, but it's like
Well,
Then do you want
the
to-
idea was I go onto
games?
Reddit's Would You Rather and do top posts of all time.
Then
oh, I would have loved to do that.
do you want to just finish off with games we're looking forward to?
Yeah, I guess we'll save Would You Rather for next time.
Yeah, I think
Games
that'd
we're
be
looking
Okay,
forward
I
to.
might be opening kind of a large box for discussion here,
Just say
but
Last of Us 2 or something?
yeah,
Wait, what
Anyway,
did you fucking
anyway.
say?
Wait, which game?
Last of Us 2.
The Last of Us 2. That's a massive controversy right now.
Okay, yeah.
It's
I don't.
Is that a bit too much?
wait, hasn't the plot been leaked already?
So it
They're
was
probably
leaked,
redoing it.
but okay, so it was leaked, got a lot of hate. A lot of the stuff, some of the stuff in the leak was not true, but I think most of it was. Some of it was just misconceptions. Like people thought you would be playing Abby half the match, that half the game. Apparently, that is not true.
Even
But
all the leaks.
apparently-
Well, let me find out.
Some reviewers got a copy of the game, and it's getting super high reviews. So some people are like, "What the fuck?" They were paid for. But there's like one negative review from a YouTuber that a lot of people trust. So I don't really know. I've decided not to really judge the game until it comes out because I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, okay. And I know a lot of the going on the subreddit, a lot of the hate is because they're like, wow, I fucking they're Naughty Dog is going woke, they have a trans character. She's not even trans apparently, so I don't even know where
That's just like that's just Reddit video game circle jerk. Yeah.
that's yeah.
It really is. Like, I don't really care too much for The Last of Us 2. I didn't care too much for the first one. Like, I thought it was like interesting and stuff like that, but I didn't. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go
I didn't.
play Pokemon.
I mean, I just watched it. I didn't really experience it. So in terms of gameplay, I don't really have a lot to say. But I thought it was a nice story.
Are you looking forward to The Last of Us 2, David?
I'm not gonna judge it till it comes out, just
Yeah.
because again with the subreddit circle jerk being like, haha, let's shit on the game because there's a trans character, but she's not
Not
even trans.
I
She's
only
not
usually
even trans.
judge
It's
the-
just modeled after a real person. I heard that's modeled after a real person, so I'm gonna like. I feel like this is just kind of mean, but whatever.
Mm.
and the critics saying it's the game's good, but I also don't really trust critics. But I'm kind of just like I'm just gonna let it come out and then see for myself.
Dude,
'Cause
gaming
Where's
critics
Dumpy's
rate on
copyright?
a scale of 6 to 10. Like,
Well, they also don't play the game that much, and so like if their initial like impression of the game is good, they may rate it well.
yeah,
Because like they can't. I mean, if you think about it, realistically, you can't play the whole 100 hours of content, right?
yeah.
And so
Well,
you
here's
only
another
play a
thing.
tiny
There's
fraction of the game.
Of
Yeah,
course,
that seems good.
there's a non-disclosure act, and apparently they are not allowed to talk about the later part of the game. So,
Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. What is it?
that
I
makes it
know
a
that
little more questionable. So I'm
So
not
why
really
did they
trusting
even
the
include the
critics.
game?
I'm not really gonna trust the critics on their good reviews, but I'm also not really gonna listen to the subreddit when shit about the leaks were like the misconceptions about the leaks, such as Abby was a randomly inserted woke trans character,
Woke.
or that you play as Abby for half the game. Those just aren't true. So I'm also not really gonna listen to the subreddit being like the game is shit. So I don't really know. I'm just gonna wait for it to come out myself.
yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. Last of Us was like, in terms of like a story, I don't understand why they didn't want to make a sequel to it. Like, I feel like as a story, it wraps up very nicely.
The
Uh,
stockholders need the
Money.
money.
Money, Ethan.
Case closed.
yeah,
Money.
I guess so. You're right. You're right. Well, like, I don't know.
Like think about
The cost
all
to make it, they feel outweighs the potential income.
Like, I don't
I mean,
know.
think about all those old ass slasher movies. People just keep making shitty sequels because people will watch it anyway because they're like, wow, I watched, I don't know, Friday the 13th when I was younger. And they're like, wow, this movie's shit, but it was Friday the 13th, so I'm going to keep watching all the rest of the sequels that keep coming out.
Maybe it'll be as good as the how I remember the
One
original
day
to
it'll
be.
be good.
One day it'll be good. One of
One
these
day.
sequels. I mean, Halloween 2018 I actually liked, so that was finally
Was
a good
actually
sequel.
I haven't watched it.
I liked it. I watched it with some friends in my dorms.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like game reviewers or game journalism as a whole is a joke. Like I don't know.
I mean, I think there was a point made off the subreddit as much as they make a lot of just kind of say not they just kind of say a lot of mean stuff about the game.
Yeah.
There's a good point where it's like if IGN starts rating shit poorly, game they're not going to get money from game developers
Yeah. Uh-huh.
to like rate their games. So I was like, that's a good point. So I don't really trust anything. I'm just waiting for it to go out to come out myself.
Usually for games like this, I just wait for a walkthrough, watch it, and then think about it myself before anything else.
Yeah. I like there's like a certain like different reviewers that if like I'm interested in the game and I don't know whether I'm gonna like it or not, like I'll watch a review from them and then like from there it'll be like, oh, I will make my opinion kind of based off of that. I guess like because I don't know, the whole critic and consumer like relationship is like ideally should be simple, but like isn't very because I think like there's a huge disconnect between what consumers want and what critics are looking for. Like
It's that way for the movie industry too.
yeah, exactly. I was thinking the biggest thing I was thinking about was like what Star Wars Last Jedi. Uh because what the critics wanted to see was definitely in that movie, but what the average consumer wanted to see was not. Which led to it being very divisive. Like whether you like it or not, like I think, okay, if you like think it's the worst movie ever or the best movie ever made, I will immediately invalidate your opinion because you're definitely wrong. Like the movie is good in some aspects and bad in others, and whether you enjoy the movie depends on what you look for in a movie. Personally, I did not enjoy the movie. It did not have what I was looking for. I thought the plot was too messy. I didn't like some of the characters. Characters are very important for me if I'm gonna like a movie, and the characters for me were just not there for the most part. For like half that movie, the characters were not or not nearly like as interesting as I wanted them to be. Especially the whole Finn sub arc thing. I thought that was
Yeah, the whole
easily the worst
telling
part of the
war
movie.
is bad to a child soldier.
Yeah, telling war is bad to the literal child soldier. I think the pacing was pretty bad, but if you're looking for like visuals, if you're looking for strong themes, because this movie tried to tackle these really strong things, these themes, and I liked the themes that they had, but the execution for it was just not there for me. So I do not like this movie. But
I'd say that it
someone
was
who does
very
like this movie, I can't see.
Disney is being very like uncreative with the writing for these movies.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
uncreative. I think it's like that they didn't have a plan. The biggest problem with the sequel trilogy is when they came in, like apparently, Abrams had like drafts for the entire script, but they didn't adhere to these, right? Because, when Ryan Johnson came in to do the second movie, he was given free creative control, so he was able to do with this movie whatever he wanted. And then Abrams would come back, and then he gets to do whatever he wants. The thing is that made these sequel movies, as a trilogy, not very great. Right? No matter your opinion on an individual movie, is that there wasn't a cohesive narrative. Uh, there wasn't a plan for the trilogy. They came in and they just started making movies, and it was reactionary. Um, the Force Awakens was a reaction to the criticism for the prequel trilogies. Right? It was very simple. It was like it was the plot was very much structured after episode 4, right?
Mhm.
And that's fine. Then people were like, well, we don't want to just see repeats of the older movies. So the Last Jedi comes in and then reacts to that. Now it's a very different movie than like what's it called? Empire Strikes Back, right? Like there's
Yeah,
parts that are
just-
similar, but you can't say that it's a copy, right? But then people said, well, we don't like that, right? We don't like these deeper themes in the movie. So then The Force Awakens, or what's the last one? What's the last one called then?
The Last
The Ri-
Skywalker.
Yeah, the Rise of Skywalker comes in. It's like, well, now we're gonna react to all the criticism from The Last Jedi. Everything that people said they didn't like, we're just gonna forget that it ever happened. Uh, and that's the problem with these movies, in my opinion. Like the first one, The Force Awakens, I like. It's like a fun enough action movie. Uh, then The Last Jedi was like there are parts of it that were very good, but there were also equal parts, like an equal number of parts of it that were also very bad. And just the bad stuff for me was unforgivable, or it didn't let me enjoy the good stuff about it. Then The Rise of Skywalker was very much like a mess.
I
That-
remember
Yeah.
watching seven, and I remember it finishes. I'm like, wow, this is just episode 4.
It's very
That's-
similar. I wouldn't say it's like the exact same movie, but yeah, I think it's that
just
way
like
purposely.
Empire 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
think
the fact that I retained basically nothing from that film as well. Like I don't
Yeah.
remember like that much what happened in it, which is also bad.
I feel like the new trilogy in general is just very forgettable.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's
Like
probably for the
I
best.
like remember like moments from the films. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, there was that thing and like yeah, right,
Uh, Kill the Past. All I think of when I think of like the new Star Wars trilogy is that one clip that someone like were edited in. What was Adam Driver, the guy who plays Kylo Ren? Because he does like other movies and stuff like that. And then the clip
There's a
from one of
marriage
his other
story on that.
movies, and he goes and he yells like, "Hell yeah! I just had sex about to eat nachos." That's all I think. That's what I remember. I
yeah.
think.
If what you remember from the movie is not even from the movie, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. I think The Force Awakens, for what it was trying to do, does it very well. It's because I think, like, looking at the prequel trilogies, the movies, like, in a vacuum, isn't necessarily a good way to look at these movies, especially, right, because it's a continuing narrative, right? Like, you don't look at Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, as, like, just Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. You don't, like, think about it in the greater scheme of things. For what The Force Awakens was, like, I will not really defend a lot of the sequel Disney movies, but I will defend The Force Awakens. I think for what it was trying to do, it did very well. Because, think about it, the last Star Wars movies that were made were the Phantom Menace, where, like, everyone was kind of dead whenever they're making that. Attack of the Clones, where all people, like, remember that movie for is Anakin saying he doesn't like sand. And then fucking the Revenge of the Sith with all of that like stuff, right? Like I am the Senate, whatever, or execute Order 66, right?
It's just meme content is all people remember from
Yeah.
this sport.
Like because what I think a large part of the appeal of the original Star Wars trilogy was it's a very simple story, right? Um, it's got like interesting characters, right? And that is what you're looking for. But what the prequel trilogy tried to do is it tried to be far more sophisticated than I think the cast, right? The people. All right, I'm gonna mute you for a moment. I'm sorry. Than what the filmmakers were able to like do well.
Yeah, I think like the cast was fine, but like the script and the dialogue is just
It's terrible.
it's
Poor
terrible.
writing.
I think if the prequels had better dialogue and no Jar Jar Binks,
It
they
would,
might have it
Yo.
might have been okay.
you want to know
Like-
what's fucked up? You want to right? You think about it. You think about the Phantom Menace, right?
Yeah,
Like every character does not express emotion. Like every character in that movie is dead except for Jar Jar. The only character in that movie that expresses any kind of personality is Jar Jar. The only character that really is like substantial to the plot in that movie where you cannot remove them is Jar Jar. Think about that for a moment. That's pretty fucked up.
I mean, and like Clone Wars Jar Jar is like bearable.
But he's like not very much
Oh,
there,
I
which is
think
thank
that's
God.
it's because like Clone Wars is just like a different style as well. Clone Wars it takes itself more seriously at times, but when it takes itself more seriously, there is a Jar Jar right there.
Yeah.
There's like a split, but
Yeah.
like I appreciate the themes that the prequels bring, like or like the overarching like story that the prequels are trying to explain.
But they don't
Like-
do it well.
Like because like the cinematography, some of it's actually decent, right? Like
Mhm.
some of the lightsaber fights are like okay. So some are not so much, but like it's just that the dialogue is really bad and cringeworthy.
Yeah. And I think like because of the way that the prequels presented themselves, the tones of the movie, right? Like that wasn't what people were looking for in Star Wars, right? And going into the new trilogy, you're looking for a return to form. So I think that very much basing this an original story or the story based off of like episode 4, I think is fine. I think it does what it's trying to do very well. It reintroduces the audience to Star Wars after like what almost 2 decades of
Yeah,
like
but I feel like they didn't have to devote the entire movie to that. Like they could have began it that way, but then kind of steered in a new direction.
Yeah. I mean, I think for what it is, like I understand, but I think for the first movie to like play it completely safe, I think was probably the better move. Where you want to like really expand for what it you're telling from that point is for the next 2 movies, because you have another 2 movies to play with it, right? I think it's probably safer to have it be very similar, and then you start doing like going wild, right? In terms of like different like plot
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Which really makes it hard to say because like the next 2 movies are just kind of fucked, right? Like I kind of want to see like what J.J. Abrams like original plan was because
Yeah.
like even in the end like they might have tried to expand on the Star Wars universe in the first movie, right? But like by the third movie, like everything's just tied back to the original. Like, oh look, spoiler, she's Sidious's daughter, haha, or Sidious's granddaughter, haha. Well, everyone's related. That's why she's powerful.
Mhm.
Like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think fundamentally from the way that it was like the planning that went into the very minimum amount of planning that went into creating these new movies, that I'm not saying that that plan is good, because obviously I've never seen that plan, but I will defend The Force Awakens. I think for what it is, it's a good movie. It's good popcorn fodder, right? You turn the brain off. You got the pretty colors. The action scenes are pretty solid. The dialogue is like pretty good for the most part. Like
Well, it's a shame it's gonna get lumped into the other 2 movies.
yeah, because that's the problem. Because you can't really look at the individual like. It's hard to look at these movies individually because it's supposed to be an overarching story.
Yeah, and it's not like Disney doesn't have the potential to like make like decent Star Wars movies, right? Like, cause like Rogue One, pretty good.
Okay, yeah.
Solo, not as much.
I'm gonna say something. I think people think Rogue. I like Rogue One, right? I think people think Rogue One is so good is because the ending is super fucking good, but everything like before then is kind of boring. Like
That's true.
the characters aren't super interesting, right?
Yeah.
There's what is it? They got what was did they get? They got Idris Elba, right, to play that one dude
Yes.
with that like the respirator thing, right? He shows up. They're like, oh, you should know who this character is because he was in Clone Wars, I think. Like, oh,
Mhm.
look at this character. Wow, very interesting. We're gonna kill him. The what is it? They're gonna get in this like fight. They have to. The main characters have to leave, and instead of like going with them, Aegis Elba's like, no, I must stay here and die. Go without me, and then he dies. Like that's all his character does.
Yeah, but I feel like even though the beginning's like a little slow,
But the ending, the ending
it does,
is so
it does
good.
what it does well.
Yeah, yeah. Like okay, because the
And it
thing
doesn't
is, I
have
think
any of the other Star Wars movies.
yeah, like I think a huge problem with like looking at individual movies of like certain like long running properties is it's hard to look at like them individually, especially if it's like telling like a huge story.
Yeah,
Like
because well, every single movie is adding on to the world building, right? So logically speaking, everything is tied together in some
yeah,
way.
like because it's a shame that again that Force Awakens and like Rogue One gets tied in with these other Disney movies where like this is terrible, right? Like all the Disney movies are bad, right? When
We're
like
never seeing that Obi-Wan movie.
we will never will. It's the one that everyone wanted, and it's the only one that's not being made. Uh, right? Where it's like, I understand why it's tied in, and to an extent, I agree that it should be tied in. But at the same time, it's like, as individual films, they're fine.
I think that's why they want to do those like Star Wars story movies where they can instead of like making
Yeah, the
making like a
overarching
trilogy,
story.
because then they can have these like one-offs where they don't have to like, like they can like make a story that's not related to everything else.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I still think that it'll fall under this like problem because
I mean,
again, it's about a property, this overarching world, right? Like
Yeah,
whenever
and
you're
they can
looking at
do
any
they
film
can do world
franchise.
building, but I mean, going forward they may be better off doing Star Wars stories instead of trying to make more trilogies.
Yeah, like
Like the thing that makes me even more upset is that they retconned so much of the expanded universe.
they
And like,
retconned all of the expanded universe.
yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
It's all gone.
And like, I feel like there were much more compelling stories that could have been told of like the Old Republic or something before the 6 movies, but I don't think that doesn't appeal to like
The general
fan.
audiences.
Yeah, because the fan remembers Skywalker, fan remembers like
Palpatine. They don't
all
remember
of
the
those
Old
characters.
Republic.
Well, yeah, because half of them don't know about the Old Republic. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
And I actually I remember I've actually found the like I have what's the game? It's like Battlefront 2, I think.
Battlefront 2,
And
fucking great game.
it's
Holy shit!
it's like that the single player like campaign in that game. I mean, obviously Star Wars video games aren't known for their like engaging stories,
Wait,
but
is this
I thought
the good
that-
one or the bad one?
we're talking about the
Yeah,
original.
the new one, the 2017 one.
Oh, you have the new one?
I have the new one, yeah.
Oh,
you're
okay.
talking about the old
Oh,
one.
wait, I thought you were talking about the
Yeah.
old one.
Opinion back.
Yeah, the old one. Yeah, it's like I remember more from that story, and it's not even like that interesting of a story, but it's like it still has a story. I remember more about that than I do about episode
Yeah.
like 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Shame.
Like that story was mildly interesting. The other Star Wars episodes like okay. You're kind of fumbling in all parts of the zone, not just the end zone.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
like making new Star Wars movies was like a recipe for like fan backlash. I don't think there's anything they really could have done to like
Like you're always gonna get backlash because they didn't, because you can't please everyone. But at the same time, when you don't please, the majority, then you need to step back.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just the expectations for what was like gonna happen were just like far too high for Disney to ever like be able to feasibly reach it. Because Star Wars is like such this beloved franchise, right? Like, there's been again like what a decade in between, or like a decade and a half between the newest movie that you're making and the last one that people didn't like, right? Like, it has this legacy, like the sense of nostalgia around it, that like people kind of hold this up as like this holier than thou thing. Like the the movies, the original prequels or trilogy was like good, but I think a lot of it is still like nostalgia based, right? Like, because a lot of people like Return of the Jedi, and I went back to watch it like a few years ago, and I didn't like that movie. I remembered liking it. I liked A New Hope. I liked Empire Strikes Back, right? But like the Return of the Jedi was not very good. It was like okay, right? But people
think for
still
me,
think
it's
it's
like
good.
I think for me, it's like a decent movie, in like or it's okay in the scheme of things with
Yeah.
both of the other ones. It's like a satisfying conclusion to the two better movies.
Yeah, but it's not that good. I think I don't think it's that good, right? Uh, but it's still something that people like see as this great thing. No, I think no matter what they did, it would be met with some kind of like large scale disappointment, which is again why I think that like playing it super safe like they did with the first one was the right call because like uh, it's not something mind blowing, but it's not terrible either.
Could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been worse. It could have. They
It
could have
could have
started
been
off
worse.
with the fourth or the Last
Worse.
Jedi. Like, I don't know. It's a bit of a disaster.
Mhm.
But you know,
Yeah.
maybe they'll do the Star Wars different stories.
When's the next one coming out? 21.
I don't know,
Right.
dude. I don't really
Dude.
care that much about Star Wars anymore.
Well, wait, what is it even going to be about? Like, we're on 10 now. Oh my god.
Wait, they're making another trilogy?
Yes, of course.
Money.
Do you think that Disney's done
Money.
milking this franchise? You're crazy, man.
I know that
They're only
like
done,
they
they're only
called
done
the
milking it when they make 3 direct to video
Yeah.
movies.
I
Like,
know that
Yeah, they're making another trilogy, of course.
Yeah. I hope it's not so connected to the last one. I think like
Well, I know.
I think even if like say this trilogy, right, the sequel trilogy somehow, right, was like actually pretty good and people actually liked it, I still would prefer them to start making like something very like not connected, right? Like because at this point I don't understand what like there's only so much you could do with these characters now. Like making
Yeah.
a new trilogy around them, I don't think is like really feasible. Especially because these characters aren't like beloved classical characters. They're like pretty divisive. Uh, at this point in time, like this
Oh.
is their chance to like basically start from scratch. I kind of hope they do.
Hmm.
They'll start from scratch as much as they can while preserving this universe they've made.
Yeah, but like entirely new cast, like very disconnected from like what has happened before.
Yeah.
It's gonna end up the final movie of the new trilogy. It's gonna be like Palpatine's back from the dead again.
Well, at least it's probably gonna have good music, so
Yeah, you can always count on the scores being good,
I'll always count on John Williams.
It's true.
even when the movie isn't good. He is. Yeah, it's nice to have that kind of like. At least one part of your movie's good, dude. That's a bit of a feels bad. We were talking about games we were looking forward to, and now we're talking about Star Wars.
Star Wars, what's that?
Oh, have you guys been playing? Do any of you guys play like MMOs at all?
No.
No.
Who's gonna bring up
Oh.
Trove?
No, shut your fucking mouth.
Oh my
Is
god.
it that time of year again?
Is it that time of year?
Apparently, Amazon is developing a new Lord of the Rings
Crucible?
MMO.
Oh,
Is-
yeah. Wait, I think I heard
Crucible
about that.
the
Yeah, like it was announced like I think like last 2 years ago, last year or something. Like,
Crucible's
there's
already
been, like,
out.
no updates on it. No, it's not Lord of the
Okay.
Rings Online. That's been around since like 2008 or something. But like, there's a new Lord of the Rings MMO, and I haven't seen any of it. But please, please, please be good, please.
You
The
need
only
a
MMO I've
replacement for Trove.
recently heard of was Black Desert Online, and I don't know, like people that, like
Yeah,
for
it
example,
was-
Killian
it was
plays
free
MMOs. I don't
on-
think he played
it
it
was
that much.
free. It was
It was
free.
free. Yeah, I couldn't get
Yeah.
it, but
Guild Wars 2, the Elder Scrolls Online game.
yeah.
Final Fantasy 14.
Also kind of hyped for Elder Scrolls 6, but I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, they showed off one cinematic trailer and then nothing else.
Yeah.
They haven't shown anything
Wizard
else.
101.
Wizard 101.
Wizard 101. Yeah.
I
yeah,
can't wait
that's
for
another-
Wizard 202.
Yeah.
101.1.
What other game? Well, Silk Song, of course.
So
Oh,
sounds like Metroidvania. What did you say?
Isaac expansion.
Oh, where-
oh yeah, Revelation.
Yeah, where the fuck is that, man? Come
It's
on.
at the end of summer.
I'm
but-
waiting for Subnautica Below Zero. Of course, Cyberpunk. KSP2, of course.
KSP2.
Yeah, that's coming this year.
Dude,
Can't
it's
believe it.
I'm interested in Shin Megami Tensei 5, but that game's never gonna fucking
Yeah,
come
just
out.
haha.
I'm trying to think of what else. Breath of the Wild 2, I'm pretty hyped for.
Oh yeah, the DLC that became its own game.
Yeah, huh?
So
Bayonetta 3 will come out eventually.
Animation,
Metroid Prime
little
4.
PMG.
Will come out eventually.
Another little PMG.
Isn't Cyberpunk Also coming out
2077. Yeah, that's coming out soon.
It's
I
Uh,
think it's September. I'm not sure if I'm right.
I'm looking forward to the next parts of the Final Fantasy VII remake. I don't know if you guys watched my review for that, but I wasn't like super into the game, but I think it sets up for something that could be really cool. So I'm looking forward to see where it's gonna go next. So that's something
Other
I'm looking forward
games.
to.
There
Isn't
are other
gonna
games.
be
I
a
forget.
new Paper Mario game as well.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah, Paper Mario King. I hope it's good, but I have a bad feeling it's gonna be in the next freaking Sticker Star.
it doesn't look too bad.
But I want my battle mechanics, not freaking.
Hey, you see the new trailer? Like they showed off some of the more some of the battle mechanics as well. They have partners back. It looks like.
Oh yes.
It looks like. I don't know. It looks like it
Because
could be interesting.
I
but-
like Super Paper Mario for the Wii was it was a puzzle game, and I liked the format, like how they did Thousand Year Door and Super Mario. So in the normal Paper Mario, which is like basically Partners in Time, but you know before Partners in Time was a thing.
Yeah, I don't know
Or
why
like-
they're constantly like wanting to reinvent Super Mario or Super Paper Mario. Like it's an RPG series. Like keep it an RPG.
Yeah, because like people loved Paper Mario Thousand Year Door because of all the witty characters, all the humor and everything, where that was kind of lost in Sticker Star because everyone was literally a toad.
Yeah.
You're saying there's something wrong with being a toad? Fucking racist.
No,
Holy shit.
my
Okay.
gosh.
Yeah.
God.
Games I'm looking forward to. Diamond and Pearl remake. You.
Oh wait.
I want these things. It's
Is
not.
There, is there an announcement?
No,
or
no,
anything?
no. But they have
Okay,
to do
wait.
it. They have to do it.
I can't believe you fucking baited me like this. Holy shit.
No, no. Okay, listen. It's going to happen. There's no way they
Yeah,
don't
it's
do
the
it.
Next in the sequence, right? But
Yeah,
like,
it's the next of the sequence. There's no way they don't do it. Like.
It's a year from now.
It's been
Or two.
one generation without it.
Diamond and Pearl remake.
Okay, so here's why I think it's gonna happen, right? Is because instead of doing a new version of the Sword and Shield this year, they're doing expansions instead. And the second expansion is gonna have the Reggie or like the Gigas Pokemon. It's like Reggie Gigas, Reggie Ice, Reggie Steel, and Reggie Rock. It's gonna have them, right?
Reggie from Nintendo of America?
They're gonna bring back Reggie from Nintendo of America. I
my
think
God.
I think next year it's gonna happen, and
Okay.
I want it. I want it so bad.
I will be on the lookout for a cheap Switch.
I grew up with Platinum,
Life,
so
you don't want
I
to
would
your
be so
TV.
I would like insta buy that.
Yo, dude, it's gotta happen. It's the next in the sequence. It's been when did Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire come out last? Because it's been a while.
Hasn't it been like 5 years?
Okay, I think so. Let me think. Okay, so last year was Sword and Shield. Then before that was Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, the Sun and
It came out
Moon.
in
and
2014.
Yeah, like
Wow.
it's
been
gotta be happening.
5 years. Holy shit.
It's in the works right now. Game Freak, oh boy.
There's no way they don't like announce it soon.
What if they cut the Pokemon?
The Dex is gonna be cut.
It's over.
You already know the Dex is gonna be cut. I
Sad
don't.
missing
Okay,
it.
yo, I don't think it's gonna.
Wait,
I
mean,
talked about this in the video where I talked about like
Yeah.
Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's not as big as a deal as people are making it out to be. Like
Wait, what do you mean?
the Dex cut. There's no national Dex.
Oh,
People
what the-
like it's annoying, but it's not like this huge thing. People made it out to be this huge thing. It's like the game is ruined. It's not ruined. Like talk about Sword and Shield, right? Like, are you really gonna use like fucking Tentacool in your team? The answer is
Well,
no, because it's not. If it's not in the region, you're not going to use it in your playthrough, right? Which is most of the player base. And then if you're going to play competitively, you're probably not going to use it because it might not be legal.
Well, I don't think it ruins the game, but I think it's like kind of an indicator of like cutting corners,
Yeah, no, I
which
think
I do not like at all.
yeah,
Which
it
doesn't
definitely
do
is,
well
but
when
I
we're
think
actually gaming at it.
like it's not something that's like this big deal, right? Like I think
True.
there's like a lot of problems with Sword and Shield. As much as I like the game, there's a lot of problems with it, right? And like no one was like talking about that. I felt, and everyone was just bitching about the national dex. I'm like, the national dex doesn't matter compared to these other problems.
Yeah.
I feel like Google Translate could have written a better story than what they put in Sword and Shield.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? Okay, I'm fine with the Sword and Shield story because the focus of Pokemon, I feel like never was the story behind it. It's just like go here. Listen, you're a 10-year-old kid. Take this fire breathing monster, and then go make it fight other people's pets. Like as long as it's serviceable to get you out, I think it's fine.
Well, it's just a lot of bad writing. Like they like recycle the same thing over and over again. Like I'm the unbeatable champion with my Charizard. Oh, did you remember I'm the unbeatable champion with my Char? They weren't even
Yeah,
creative with the use
that's
of the words.
more of a problem, right? Which is
Is that and
dialogue. I think
that
the
and the
story for what it was is fine. I like how it didn't like focus so much on an evil team, and it was like more having to do with the league. Because one of the things I really disliked about like a lot of Pokemon games, like, is except for Black and White, which had like compelling stories, but like for like even like going back to the Hoenn region, so like even like Team Galactic, right? It's like, okay,
Team
what's your
Galactic, oh boy.
what's your goal playing Pokemon, right? What's the appeal? Is you're catching these Pokemon and you're gonna become the champion, right? So why the hell does the evil team matter? Like it's not like in line with the goal of what the game presents you, right? It's like, okay, here's this other thing you have to do. I liked how they focused a little bit more on gyms in this game than in previous ones, right? Because like Black and White was like pretty interesting up until like the end, where it's just like, oh, yeah, the interesting evil team was actually just a generic evil team. But then
Yeah,
Black and
well,
White 2 was like compelling sequels. Like, okay, this is what's happened to the people now in like the aftermath of this event. Like the evil
Hey,
teams, I
y'all,
think, are like
I
fun, but it's
gotta.
never a huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, like the teams just serve as like a plot device, so you can eventually meet the like
Legendary, yeah.
legendary. Because like you're a fucking normal ass kid. Like, how the fuck are they gonna explain the normal ass fucking kid from like the most deserted town in the middle of nowhere fucking meeting the legendary Pokemon of the region, right? They have
Yeah.
to tie it together somehow, and like honestly, it's probably for the best if it stays like that because the teams aren't compelling and they're not supposed to be compelling.
Yeah, but I mean, for the story here, like they intertwine the evil team with the actual
Yeah,
game, and that's
yeah,
something
exactly.
I like.
Yeah,
Like,
what
but
about the $2 cutscene budget?
okay, that's something else. That's another problem. Like, you see, like the game's got like a lot of other problems. It's not the national dex that's the biggest thing. People
Yeah.
are bitching about the national dex.
I
It
think
doesn't
it is
matter. It doesn't.
indicative of other
It's
problems.
indicative of other problems, but it's not the
indicative of
problem.
a bigger underlying problem with Game Freak, I would say.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
that and the performance problems. Like I think the performance problems are kind of deep, and that the performance problems have kind of
Let's go,
like,
Pokemon.
they haven't gotten better. Like they have released updates to this game, right? But they haven't like the performance hasn't gotten any better, which I think is also showing indicative of a problem at Game Freak. Even if they can't like even a little bit, if they can't fix it even a little bit, I mean it shows that I think they aren't like it's not a concern for them.
yeah. Like again,
So
there's other problems, bigger problems with the game. Like, no matter how much I like it, there's no way I could defend these things. It's just the national dex is not a huge problem, and I hated hearing like everyone's like, "Oh my god, the national dex, the national dex." It's like, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna use these Pokemon anyway. It doesn't matter. Like, don't. It's not a big deal. Like, you're gonna pick up the game, you're gonna play it, you're gonna say, "Wow, I can't believe the national dex isn't in this game." Well, not being able to use the Pokemon that you would like to use, because it's not like that's something that's inherent to this game. It's just that you can't transfer Pokemon over. It, it was like so annoying, but whatever.
that being said, I really hope it's good.
Yes,
Roland.
I
Diamond
hope.
and Pearl.
I would probably actually buy it
If it's not like, well, I guess maybe we're putting it on too high of like a pedestal, but like, I hope it's good.
Yeah, I
If
think.
it's not that good, I'm gonna be a little upset. But
I think as like a Pokemon game, if they upgraded the graphics from where it is now, and then just kind of like added all the events that were for that game into like the base game,
yeah,
it'll be fine. Like,
it's a very good game on its own.
yeah, I think like a problem that it's gonna come across is like taking it's a game built for the DS, which is like hardware that's super old, right? Where you were
Nokia.
limited by so much stuff, like and moving this over onto like a stronger console, like what are you gonna do in terms of like the gameplay? Like I don't remember like the amount of time it will take you to finish, right? But like you have to worry about like expedite like padding, right? Like the Final Fantasy remake had problems with padding. Like I don't know. I think if it's like Sword and Shield, I think it'll be passable. I think it'll be like a fine game. Uh, but that being said, I hope it's more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'll happen. I swear to God.
Well, I'm getting hungry,
So
so
they're also
Okay.
releasing a new Lego Star Wars game.
Clay's
you guys
hungry.
keep going, but I'm gonna go probably eat.
Yeah.
Well, we're probably yeah. It's like 6 o'clock right now. I think we should probably wrap up. We have like
Yeah.
2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
All right. Yeah. That's a long ass podcast. Oh, anyway, we'll save.
This lasts longer than like how long I
Obviously.
usually play Trove with Joshua since it's that
What?
time of the year. So
Wait, what?
what?
Okay.
I didn't
We'll
hear a
save.
single
Would you
word.
rather
believe
for
you
next
drove.
time? I can't believe Trove.
Let's do Would You Rather. I want to do Would You Rather.
We'll do that next time. We'll do that in like
Oh, yeah,
2 weeks.
how about the comments? Give some do your rappers.
Oh yeah. The comments. You want to like give us any. Would you rather? I don't get a lot of audience engagement on my videos, so you'll probably have to do something, Clayton.
I can announce it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely. This one's a pretty good one, so I'll definitely promote it.
So what is it?
I was gonna promote the last one, but I forgot, and so I'll do it for this one.
You're only gonna promote the ones you're in. Um.
Whoa!
Ooh,
No, it's not true. It's not true.
it's
I mean-
true, it's true. It's also
Believe
true.
you.
Okay. Anyway, we'll save Would You Rather for next time. If Clay gets his audience to give us some Would You Rather's, that'll be pretty fun. So I don't have to rip it off of Reddit. And
Yeah.
if there's any other like things, yeah, like if you could get your audience engagement and be like, hey, ask them what they want us to talk about. That would be
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
good because like at least having like those extra ideas, like in case I can't come up with something good for a week, it'll be pretty easy. And then if we get a lot, then we could do podcasts more often. Because I think as long as we have something like to talk about, we could talk about things for a while. We talked about like what the
Mobile
PS5
game
for like
forever.
50 minutes before we did
Oh, yeah.
anything else. Like yeah. So again, any would you rather's, any like suggestions, anything you guys want to plug before we go?
Subscribe to Clay God.
Unsub the Clay God.
No.
I'm gonna unsub with all my 50K accounts.
Also,
Dude, that's awesome.
we
Hey,
talked
you
about
did-
this the
you
last
buy,
podcast. We did not receive any Bible fan fiction, and I am thoroughly disappointed. So,
Oh,
any
that's
Bible fan fiction, send it our way, and maybe
Yeah,
we'll read it on the podcast.
You better send it, or I'll have to write my own.
Exactly, dude.
You don't want that. You don't want that.
And you don't want that, exactly. Okay,
yeah.
so I think that's it, right?
Yeah, we're good.
I'd say
Yeah.
so.
So anyway, this has been the DPS podcast. I've been your host, Kimada Kimpa. We've had Clay God, David, Joshua, Ravi, and Aryan, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, idiots.
Bye.
That's not
Bye.
funny.